next week.
It's next week.
It's on Wednesday.
Anyway, let's talk football.
Right. We'll talk local football. There's
Una Emery they are
Champions League. Be careful of that guy. Let's just see what happens today when Aston Villa plays what you call it. When PSG. Aston Villa plays PSG.
But it's either PSG or Aston Villa.
Yeah,
whoever wins.
We'll wait and see. My name is Innocent. This is Valentine. This is Bevan, and this is of course Strictly Football. We're going to start off with Kepe Bo.
Well, I mean, come on.
Of course, you're going to take offense to
Bhora. Why would you say Bo what?
The fans were not happy. They are not happy.
Allow me to quote one of the greatest, I think, football personalities in Zimbabwe, Sandy Marim. He says, "Timi mafanza ichikiwe," and what he meant was fans always expect and always want a victory.
Yeah, but they're justified, isn't it? When was the last time Caps United won a major trophy?
It's been a span.
9 years ago.
It's been a span, but I'll tell you, of the traditional big teams, they are the last to have won a major thing. Major in the context of the league title.
They're the last to win the
league title.
Don't say major, say league title.
But for us,
but nothing can be major than the league title. We've
got the Chibuku Super Cup.
So you think
it's a major trophy.
Chibuku Super Cup? Is it bigger than the title?
Yeah. No, we're saying
it's a major trophy.
We said just. That's why I said mention that it is the league title, not major.
They are the ones that
the biggest trophy. Yeah, we can say the biggest trophy.
Yes.
So they were the last. So I think the fans are just fed. I mean, the sheer size of the institution brings with it demand from the fans. It's justified to demand, but it has to be within a context and understand the dynamics of what is happening.
All right. Let's hear what the fans had to say after the game against Ngezi Platinum Stars.
I think this team needs a complete overhaul, starting from the coach, because this coach has stayed he has overstayed his welcome, because they have been making blunders from each and every game.
My supporters and Caps are patient enough. Lodza, the coach is a very good coach.
I still believe Lodza is still a good coach, and we are going to start collecting maximum points for next game Bosso, despite BF.
I'm not here, I'm as a supporter, I'm a die-hard supporter of Cape United, but I'm very bored and I'm very disappointed.
I want to go far as because we can play this season, last season, last season, Chinotanga, my draws, but this season, true winners, confidence,
as long as Simba Bhora I fair Buddha Pangez. Squadra Chaka Simba Bhora. I told you to go I don't know.
To promote our Kumusha. Vanons Kumusha, go farm and board and do Maya now. Team Educa this time. Tukutora.
All right, that's what the fans had to say about the match. Justified the way they're feeling, considering Lloyd Chitembwe has been at the helm at Caps United for quite a while. But the fans seem not to see the result. Is this a process? Is this Arteta-esque? What is it exactly?
Arteta-esque? No, it can never be Arteta-esque. You know, if you look at the current Caps United squad, you compare it with the previous season, there's a difference. You've got to look at, there were additions that were made to that side. And it's a process, again, of gelling them into a team and making sure that it's a solid unit. We have the biggest of worries if I were maybe in the setup, if the team was not creating chances. But the fact that the team is creating chances and they are getting into the prime target areas, they are missing years. They are not scoring, yes. But the biggest problem, if you ask me, is the defense. So literally, they in my view they do not have a lot of problems to solve. It's the defensive line that has been leaky for the past, I think, 2 seasons. But everywhere else on the field of play, I think it's not really much of a big problem. And the fans need to know this is game week. It was match day number 5.
Number 5.
And in 2008, for example, if I'm to draw parallels, Monom Tapa lost the first 4 matches, literally losing. But they went on to win the league title. So I don't think it's time yet to press alarm bells and panic buttons to say, what. But it's well within the fans' right to register discontent, to say, we are not happy with what is happening. You want to also take into cognizance the activities that took place, the transfer activities that took place off-season. There are players that were brought onto the club, and the fans would probably want to the expectation is high. Then it's not tallying with what's on
the ground. Like you were just saying, the match between Caps United and Scotland was actually phenomenal in terms of play. Unfortunately, Caps United lost. But please do tell us in the comment section what you think about Caps United's performance this season. Are they going to be in the title race, or are they going to be fighting relegation? Oh, no reaction. That's great. So just tell us in the comment section here. We value your comments. But right now, we're going to hear from the Caps United president, Honorable Farai Jere, who's going to tell us exactly what's happening at Caps United and what he thinks of what transpired at Rufaro Stadium over the weekend.
Let me make it clear that what happened at Caps United this Sunday is nothing abnormal. What happened is very normal. It shows that Caps United is a very big family, is a very big team with so many stakeholders. And the main stakeholder, they have spoken. What is happening at Caps United is unacceptable. You cannot expect that to a club like Caps United, especially with the way we did our business during the transfer window. We have got the materials, the players are there. And what is good about what the fans did, what is making me happy as the president, is the way they did their demonstration. They didn't touch anyone, they didn't destroy anything. They just went on to demonstrate their displeasure with what is going on at the club, with the results which are not coming. Yes, the fact that the team is playing fantastic football is something else. Right now, it's on record. Our match against Scotland, everyone came out and said this was a blockbuster of a match, and Caps United, they were unlucky and what have you. And lots of people were coming into the inboxes saying, no, we are failing to put the ball at the end of the net. Same with this match, which you played against Ngezi Platinum Stars. Our fans were not happy. And they are very clear, the areas which they are not happy with. Our defense is letting us down. But why is the coach not doing anything about it? Right. But the coach is saying he has got a huge pool of players. Some are new players who are coming in, and he's in the process of assessing them. So what I want to assure the Caps United fans, all those who follow Caps United, things are going to turn around. Soon they are going to see the positive results coming, because it's a matter of that luck and also making some few adjustments to the team, which the coach is also seeing, which everyone in the Caps United family is also seeing. In terms of remuneration and the welfare of the players, that is being taken care of. That's why we managed to lure those players to the club. But we have got things which are lacking from some of the players, which the coach has also identified. I was talking to the coach, and the coach is aware of those things. And he is also appreciative. He's saying, no. What the fans did is very normal. World over, Caps United is a big club. And their expectations out there, they expected whatever way they do their business, whether they've got money, they don't have money. Once the season starts and the 3 p.m. ticks and say we are here, our fans, they've got their own expectations.
All right, that is, of course, Honorable Farai Jere, the president of Caps United Football Club. They're echoing the same sentiments that you saying, that maybe a bit of patience is needed from the fans as the team is continuing to build, and the fact that possibly the players haven't gelled yet.
Yeah, a bit of patience. And if you ask me again, you also want to look at the fixtures. First, they traveled to Greenfuel. Greenfuel, if my statistics are correct, I don't think they lost a game at home last season. Then you go there. You come back here. You're playing Scotland, the team of the moment, Scotland. Then again, the following week, you're going back to Greenfield Sports Arena, where they played. That was Triangle. Yes, they won. Then they did not come back to play Trufaro. They went to a tricky one. From there, you come back. You host Ngezi Platinum. I fly Ngezi Platinum. From there, you're going to play Highlanders. So you want to look at the round of fixtures. Yes, these are the teams that are in the league. Yes, people will argue, but the positioning and the games, sometimes, like, for example, the previous game that they lost, I think it's been 3 years. Cape United has not won a game against Ngezi Platinum. So in football, there's something called a bogey side. Those things can happen.
Cape United has a number of them, though.
Which ones, you may tell?
Rentals. We'll start there.
Rentals, but they will draw. I think they may not lose. But I think Rentals they beat. I think they beat Rentals in one of the games. I'm not so sure.
Last season they did beat Rentals last season. Isn't it? You're awfully quiet today. What's going on? Anything to do with Highlanders?
No, they're struggling like Caps United, as you mentioned, and it's going to be a tough season for them. They just lost a CEO right now.
What do you mean they just lost a CEO?
What do you mean they lost?
What is they just lost a CEO?
What do you mean?
He resigned.
So
all right. A club, and they've appointed a CEO who I think it's an adulterous appointment.
How so?
Because he sits on the board. So in terms of good corporate governance, you can't be
seconded to.
Yeah, you can't be a subordinate being the CEO and supervise being in the committee at the same time. How do you balance the two? Legally for me, it's a mess. It tells you about
in football. It's not new.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's good corporate government. Because what we have always been clamoring for, why these big three are struggling, it's because of
But it's
poor
on interim basis, Val.
Yeah, it's interim basis. Yes, but we know the institution. It can take the whole year, and the guy continues there.
Oh, the interim is not interim.
Yeah,
it's substantive.
You end up being substantive.
Substantive interim.
So, but I'm sure that they could have gotten somebody somewhere.
Then the process.
Yeah, I think it was a rush. The guy just resigned 3 days ago. Then 2 days later, you appoint.
But like the old saying goes like,
no, this is,
you have to
but you've got a chairman there. You've got a chairman
who has absolute faith in the interim CEO.
So there you have it. It's a whole mess at Highlanders. I hope they solve it as soon as possible. But
is that the reason why you were quiet? Because he just asked.
No, he just asked. He just asked about. No, I was just consuming what you guys are saying, and looking at which angle should I take in terms of understanding the crisis at Caps United.
Is it a crisis?
Listen. That's why I said I was. The fans think it is. I'm speaking from a fan's perspective because they always want to win. They want results. It's a big institution. It's not your tail one where you are given leeway to say no. You can afford not to win the first 5 games and not get out of 15 points. Yeah, it's okay if you get 5. It's okay. No, it's highly unacceptable for an institution like Caps United, and of course for us who understand the dynamics of football to explain what's happening. You did put in a good contribution in terms of how tough the first 5 for Caps United have been, and what the challenges are like. And also it did draw parallels with how Motapa lost the first 4 games and went on to win the league. So you look at that, and this is why we say, even to the fans, patience is good. But they also look at the signings that are there. They look at the squad that is there with the expectation. I think the president, FJ, Farage, just speak to it to say, no, we did some signings, you know. And these are players that some have been there, some have just come in, you know. It might take a bit of time, but it does not, you know, take away the fact that results are expected and fans expect that at the highest level. And it's the same. Why aren't Dynamos fans singing, you know, and complaining? They've only got 1 win and 4 draws and one loss, isn't it?
They're used to it.
Three draws, 1 win and a lose, eh? So they're quiet because I think maybe they understand where they are, the fans. But for
They
us,
have more points than Caps.
they have more points than Caps.
That's a
but-
victory already.
Oh, okay. But really, looking at that, looking at Highlanders as well, Highlanders is not like, you know, everything is all rosy. They had an atrocious, you know, off-season to prepare for the season, which was bad. The consigned players, the current, you know, even complete a whole bench in their, is it second game against Mos or first game? You know, with a good complement of players going into that encounter. That's how mercy the big 3 have been. Dynamos, we all know, you know, every time they bring a new squad, you know, with...
What is up with
So-
Dynamos having a new squad every season?
It's because these institutions are still...
What's the plan?
Let me
No,
tell you. Let me
these
tell you.
institutions are still living in the
It's
past.
because the players they have 1-year contract. 31st of December, the contract ends. So in January we are
So what's the
starting
plan?
again.
What's the plan? Because
No,
as a club, if you sit down, you're going to say, all right, for the next 4 years, guys, this is what we want to achieve. And we are going to...
Not when it is individually owned. That's the challenge with Dynamos. It's now individually owned. All right?
Yeah, but
in
I do know...
No, in
Val,
hindsight,
Val,
because
it's
you
not
know why?
about individually
Is it-
ownership, individual ownership of the team. It's about the individual who
owns
owns
the
the
team.
team. Because there are teams.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
There are teams
That's
that are
what
individually owned that are run properly.
You interjected when I was trying to
get to the point.
Get
We
to the
apologize.
point.
We
When I
apologize,
said it, when I was saying it, it's the individual who is problematic at Dynamos, who does not allow, you know, good corporate governance to happen. Because Dynamos is a big institution that should be attracting corporates because of their history. But now they haven't created space and time and place for that to happen.
Let's get into the mind of what you call an individual like that. If you've got good corporate governance, that means your team is performing, right? That means the fans are coming to the stadium, right? That means sponsorship is also coming in. That means your club is successful. But then if you then decide that you don't want any of that, how are you going to make your monies? Work is calling.
No, he wants us. It's the Bible lesson that you're supposed to attend.
Don't worry.
There's a Bible lesson.
Yes, we are okay.
Awesome. So how then do you sit back and say, as an owner of a club, and say, yeah, we're good?
Innocent, andijabona ukuthi into ehluphayo ukuthi nxa ungumuntu ongumnikazi we-team weqembu and you're obsessed with losing the club and you're always fighting, you know, thinking that people want to take everything away from you. Yet you don't have, you know. But what do you do? Umuntu ohlakaniphile, a clever person, what do? They will say, okay, I can't afford to be footing Dynamos bills and so forth. Let me go to those affluent people and with great opulence to spend and support my dream, my vision. The owner or the perceived owner or the person at the helm at Dynamos should understand that, you know, even his kids, grandkids, they have to.
Yes.
But yes, they might not be able to run the club, but they've
got some stake.
Shares, stake and everything in between. If you can't trust that and you're so obsessed that you're the only one who knows how to control the club, becomes problematic.
Does any one of you know how much of Dynamos he owns?
51%.
51%.
It's a controlling
It's
stake.
a controlling stake.
But here's the thing. I think it's not. I'll tell you, it's not just about him. I've seen it amongst our people. We have got this obsession of wanting total ownership of
the
an
Changu
entity.
chess.
It's mine. Whereas
We have a team that's called Chinuchangu. Oh, Chedu. Okay, cool.
All right.
let me tell you, our business models are wrong. You can start a very big a company that can grow into a global giant, but the stake that you own can maybe be 15%, even if you were the owner from the one that actually started the venture. So we should move away from that. Let's have people that he alluded to corporate governance, and I think you're the one, and how it can bring it's when you say that you imply that there is an understanding of corporate governance. So what you're seeing is a result of that there is absence of that, and the understanding, the application, and everything. Because if people knew what that is about, if people were applying that, I mean, easily in terms of the names of the brands, in terms of the brands, Dynamos is easily the biggest. The big corporates that Scotland are attracting right now
Should be coming to Dynamos.
Dynamos, Highlanders, and Cape United.
Yeah.
I think these are institutions that should. There is no reason why we don't have big telecom companies partnering them, big banks partnering them, and big mining giants partnering them, because at the end of the day, whoever is in business is in there because of the volumes of the people out there. So these are the institutions that have we were in Blawayo, I think, for the game between Highlanders and Scotland. The stadium is packed to the brim. This is your selling point. You cannot fail to sell a fully packed Baba Fields every week in, week out. We will be there this coming weekend. It's going to be filled to the brim. But if that does not appeal to the corporate world, then there's a serious problem.
There's also something that they also look at. It's just not the numbers. It's if you're associated with a brand that is not doing so well, it's going to pull down your own brand.
Exactly.
So you need to be looking at, okay, if I'm going to be partnering this person, and this person does this, and or this person flip-flops, then how am I going to get return on my investment? This is something that we're talking about. Please give us your comments as to what you think about corporate governance in clubs such as Dynamos, Highlanders, and Cape United. How important is it to have a club that is properly run in Zimbabwe to get a sponsorship? And of course,
the easiest, go and find out what the Duke is doing with Orlando Pirates. Go and find out what with
but we
Kaiser
don't do that.
Kaiser Motam.
We don't do
he
that.
He hasn't won a trophy in so many years, but corporates still rush there.
But we don't
allow
do
me,
that.
gentlemen, to have a different perspective
To what?
to whatever is being said in that line. We also cannot brush aside the economic situation.
A matter of fact.
Because
but that's an issue of adapting now.
Exactly. And adaptation, sometimes, it's adaptation. Sometimes it means you're not doing things by the book. You've got to adapt to survive. So at the end of the day, so I'm not justifying.
Even one thing. Even there are those who find a few cents to advertise, to be associated with a certain brand. It's how you create an opportunity for them to realize that
it's not good. You know what?
There we agree.
Yes,
there we
never
agree.
say what you...
There we agree. But let us also not give too much stick. And can I finish? I have to finish so that it makes sense.
Well, it's not stick.
Do things right.
We're just saying, yes, the situation is what it is, right?
Yeah.
But it does not mean that you don't get, if those guys are getting 1 million rand or whatever it is that you're getting, doesn't mean we don't get $10,000. Yeah, it might not be as much as those guys, but it's the little that is there. How come we're not getting it?
Whilst I agree with all of you, and I've said it even before, to say we need to have these clubs run properly. But my point with the economic thing is, even the corporates, they had shied away from the game. It's not really about...
Where are they spending their money?
I'm getting there. It's not really about the big three. It's about the football ecosystem.
Yeah, that's
which was very, very, very bad over there. And
That's why you are saying
if
they can't afford to go to the football ecosystem,
it's a podcast on its own.
The good old clubs with the numbers.
All right, let's move on, guys. Let's move on, guys. Of course, we touched on Highlanders. Performance, we did talk about the performance this season. Is it a reflection of what's happening at the top, or there's something tactically that is going wrong for Highlanders?
I don't think tactically. I'll look at the games they've played. It's been mistakes by the goalkeepers. Last weekend, they had to change the goalkeeper and brought in Errol Spanda at the Greenfuel Arena. And what a howler. You're mad. For Greenfield to get the lead, in that game. And Pittis has been blamed for being too playful, at times as well. And he has had about 2 howlers as well. That's the game against Moors. It was his fault. The game against the other game that they drew as well. It was his fault. So, and Aerospanda does another when you change again. Aerospanda comes in, being the elder statesman, a howler.
Decides to copy.
Again, so you look at that, it's because there's a lot that is happening at the institution that is not right, that needs to be sorted out. I can't pinpoint exactly what it is, but I think administratively, it's problematic. You look at how they prepared for this. Highlanders are not a very fit side. It's if you look at how they've been conceding goals, it's at the death of
games.
And it speaks to fitness levels, concentration levels, and not having a proper, pre-season. So you look at that, and you say, admin. This is your could have done the coach did point to that.
Yeah.
He didn't want to say. Because we saw how much of good football they can play against Scotland. Magnificent.
It's almost like every team when they play against Scotland, they just go a notch.
A bar.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Scotland.
Now when they start playing,
he's watching. Yeah, he's watching.
So
I hope so. All right. But it's commendable that they got a point at Gibbo. It's not like...
Oh yeah, it's a good place to get a point.
Yeah, good place to get a point.
Because now it's going to be a fortress for Triangle. And I'll tell you, Triangle, watch them for the next 5 games, home games, that is.
They're going to be a problem. Let's talk about a team that is undefeated this season, FC Platinum.
They had to test defeat.
Yeah.
No one has beaten them.
They're drawing. That's what they're doing.
The Dynamos kind of thing.
No, Dynamos lost. FC Platinum.
So it's FC Platinum and Ngezi.
Ngezi,
they are the ones that I'm so sure they haven't lost.
It's the one thing that I think Mapeza is having a problem with. Maybe let's talk about Ngezi. Them winning, they're on 13 points, right? They're on 13 points, and them winning against Caps United. Last season, we did talk about it. I mean, the trial podcast that we're doing, we did talk about Ngezi Platinum playing in the Champions League and also playing in the league. And I think that kind of affected them. But this season, their only concentration is on the league, and it's already showing that they're in with a shot.
Based on the fact that they are on top. But at this stage, personally, I don't look much in terms of position on the log. I don't look at that so much because, you know, the thing with the 3-point system is they are on 13 now. They are number 1. You know, in football, you can lose 3 consecutive games. And the team that is probably on 7 points now would win 3 consecutive games. That can change the whole dynamics.
Which team is that?
No, I'm just
saying which team could be on 7 points.
7 points. Is it Dynamos?
Dynamos on 6.
Is it 6? There's one on 7.
Yeah.
Is it
very important?
You give them
is
9
it,
points.
Is it Scotland?
It's a very good team.
Scotland.
Yeah, it's a good team.
He is listening. But anyway, I'm saying, you know, the dynamics of the 3-point system are so interesting. So at the end of the day, for me, it's not so much of the positions now. The league is still in its infancy.
Yeah, but the way
But
they're playing.
I'll bump in. I'll budge in and bump in and say, look at the type of football.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
And that's so
Whose
far.
type of football?
Ngezi Platinum. The way
You're the same person who used to say that they overrun everyone.
Well, in terms of energy levels, they are ahead of everyone.
That's what's needed, isn't it?
And tactically, I think they're quite good as well. It's because they've got what we call, when you get into a season, the unknowns and will become average players. But it's what they contribute in the system of play that makes them look good, you know, when they are playing, you know. Yes, some might speak of certain names, but it's the cohesion of the team, the well coordination, because they don't lose the ball easily. You know?
And even if they do, they've got a Chiro to win it.
Oh man, look at how many men of the matches, the performances that he has given so far this season, and I think he will be a vital cog for Ngezi Platinum Stars this season, and that for me is something. Yes, it's early days, but you look at the system. And if they will falter later, I think they have their noses in front, and they have you know,
that's interesting. What he's saying is that we did mention Monom Tapa losing 4 games at the start of the season and winning the league, but there's also the reverse of creating a solid foundation and then maybe faltering later on.
You may not dislodge them. That's football. It happens. You may not, you know, get to dislodge them because the more they win, the more confident they get. And being a team, you know, if you go back to the game that they played against Cape United, they were first on the ball. They were getting the second ball. They, you know, their alertness, the mental presence, they were just there. I'll tell you one thing that I saw that was interesting, because I was reliving the game yesterday. Whenever they conceded a foul, they had somebody on the ball, preventing Cape United from
quick free
kicks and stuff.
Football intelligence.
They were doing that throughout, and you know, the opposite did not happen with Cape United. I think one of the goals they conceded,
first one.
It was actually a result of a quick free kick that they couldn't end. From that, you look at how crunch they were in terms of tackling. Go and study the Chiguida tackles in that game. Hard. And
fair.
Exactly. You know what? And I did not see that from Cape United. No, they were playing clean football and but now I think you need sometimes to exercise the big brother mentality. You know,
I'm here. In the old football, it's the first 5 minutes.
It's simple. You see, so, but in terms of energy levels, they also do not lose structure. That's one thing I like about them.
Thank you.
Regardless of whatever is transpiring, they maintain the structure, and they are it's one side that you are assured of. Even if they are going to lose, they will lose with their structures. If we go back to the game they played against Cape United, for me in the second half, Cape United threw caution to the wind. They literally abandoned the way they play, because you rarely see Cape United as goalkeeper hitting balls, those long balls that do not have an address. These are just
whom it may concern.
You get it. So it was
Go back to the days of telegraphing.
You get it. Right? But it speaks to the club in that game, in that context, getting to a point whereby they got so desperate. I think it's a game they really wanted to win ahead of a big one. But then losing structure sometimes, it affects you.
Leaves you a bit porous at the back, and unfortunately,
that's why I would be surprised if
punished.
Caps United win against Highlanders. I wouldn't.
Yeah, Caps United, Highlanders.
Oh, what have we done?
FC Platinum, we touched on them a bit. Nomé Mapeza is having trouble getting his strikers to score goals, but the defense is amazing.
But the traditional slow starters.
Yeah,
the traditional slow starters.
But he is concerned. He did come out and say.
Of course, every coach, if the team is not scoring, you say that.
Mapeza is a very clever coach. He gives the scribe something to write about because he knows that there's always a negative perception about him.
So
somehow a target.
He feels targeted.
Yes.
And
does he feel or he is?
He is.
Because if you look at the reportage,
I think the reportage around FC Platinum and Nomé Mapeza particularly is a bit polarized and offish, and he now understands it, and he plays to their whims. To their whims.
It's
okay. I know what you want to hear.
Yeah, so I'm going to give you that.
Yeah, my players are not scoring.
Yeah.
But I'm sure when he goes back to the dressing room, like lads, it will come. It will come. Be patient.
Isn't that what we in the academy is what we're always told as a team, that first is defense, and then as long as you got a solid defense, the goals will come. The worst that can come out of a game.
That's why I'm not too worried.
That's a point.
It's the same. That's why I'm not too worried about Dynamos, because so far they're not scoring enough. But they're solid.
Yeah, you are not scoring against Dynamos that easily.
Easily.
Which is funny, because when we sat here just before the season started, we talked about
the midgets.
No, but look at they are the biggest in their team at the back, except for Emmanuel Jala. Everyone else is quite, well built and properly sized. So it's like, but I just wanted to highlight that FC Platinum, for me, I don't think there's any need for anyone to panic, because naturally they are slow starters. They will not. They are not the side that will.
They won't give you 5 out of 5 for the first 5 games, or 4 out of 5 out of the first 5.
FC Platinum fans have got no
Don't worry at all.
All right, Greenfuel 2 wins in a row. Can we start talking about
about what?
About them?
I think they're just running away from relegation. They're getting enough points to stay safe.
This guy,
they want 2 games in a row. They want 2 games in a row.
I think they're doing well to survive, to stay up.
No disrespect to Greenfuel. I actually have a soft spot for Greenfuel, because
didn't they survive relegation last season?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
You know what? I was with them, covering most of their games when they were in Division 1. So I've got a soft spot for Greenfuel. But I think talking about the title, that's you're biting more than you can.
Anything can happen.
Not now.
Not now.
Yeah,
The
believe
only
you
team
me.
you can speak about title championship is the team at the top, because they've won it before with the same coach who's with them.
And so he knows
how to go about it.
Yeah. So I was saying, you know what? I wanted to say this about Greenfuel. I was clear to say not now, meaning that they have a chance in the future. I'll tell you that's a very solid institution. These are silent money bags. In fact, these are mature monies.
They don't just splash.
No. They have table manners. They have money, but they...
Yeah. Keep it on the low.
Wait till they'll come at them. No, I'm not. Don't put words into my mouth.
This is a well-run institution with good corporate governance.
Thank you. They have that. So...
in the future, this is hoping that Scotland don't do a Manchester City, right? Because they'll probably go for a treble. Right, chicken in?
I said it, and I'm going to say it again. If you remember, one of our podcasts, I said chicken in are going to struggle this season. And they are struggling.
Yeah, but you're the same person who's telling us it's only 5 games.
Yes, it's only 5, but it's a struggle for them. I'll tell you. Chicken in are not slow starters. Go check your stats. They are not slow starters. The chicken will start, and the chicken will be there in the mix. But the premise of my argument was their transfer activity. It's like they resigned to say, okay, Big Brother Scott is here.
Yeah.
We are no match for him. We are not going to be challenging, so we are content this season with just remaining in the league and be there maybe for the next 2 years or so, because Big Brother will be
Until
there.
Scotland fizzles out.
Will say, no.
It's okay.
That's the approach, because you want to look,
but you know with these teams, you know, it's 2-3 seasons.
Yeah.
After, who remembers Amazulu? Who remembers Motor Action? Who remembers Hayden? Who remembers Shooting Stars? Boys Highway. Eastern Lions. I mean, this behavior of, you know, open opulence becomes tragic at the end of the day. But let's hope they're building. They learn from that, okay? And moving on, because I will understand Scotland coming in, it's their first season. You got to show, you have to bully.
Now, those guys are seriously managed.
Yeah, to earn a stake, you know.
They are seriously
managed. And if they are serious, bakwazi uthatha amasupporter onke DeMbare kids. Kathesi nje.
Even Highlanders. Where did they get their supporters?
Do they abantu be-Dynamos labantu ababuyayo bangena ngala abathanda izinto. Wona ukwazi ukuthi abantu vele ababesuke ngalani abathanda izinto. Kulabantu athi abathanda izinto basuka ngale benge
Iwe, Scotland.
Hey, disrespect of loyal fans.
Scotland is like.
Did you see any Highlanders fan, even umgijimi? Esithi near crosses here. But it's Dynamos and Caps United. Sababona abagijimi babo. Be crosser besiyana. Yabo okeke. Mufela.
Okay, never did that. Okay, remains Dynamos.
I'm sorry. I meant Bobbin. You know, and Mufela.
Well, those guys.
I mean, you are the face of the supporters.
Don't make them face of the supporters.
Let's talk about Michael Nees. Let's talk about Michael Nees. He's going on scout.
He is actually.
Yeah, yes, that's what on a scout.
You say he's going as if he has not gone. He's gone there.
All right, Mira, stand up.
Okay.
Stand up.
Okay, guys, don't fight.
Sit.
Okay. Let's talk about this because of the interesting.
How does he just like what?
I'm telling you.
No.
Okay. Interesting contributions.
Okay. He's
so
on.
I love this topic.
He's on scouting campaign in Europe.
Yes.
Your take?
I mean, long overdue. We needed, and I'm glad it's a foreign coach who's doing this.
Yeah.
And because I think he exudes a bit of independence. And I hope
independence. What do you mean independence?
I mean culturally. No, let's cut up on parengoya kuti wewe beveni wewe. And unotamba na Valentine takakuratese. Aungandirasise on. Ndawo yani player yangu nechichi unowaketa. Uyongova umtoro wabva uku. Not at first I think the first eye that you have is of meritocracy. All right? You don't want to be involved in all this. Yes, it will eventually happen because these are things that happen. You can't avoid them. All right? And I'm glad that it happened with the foreign coach because we've had local coaches, you know, suffering from this because they've certain relations back home that they have to protect and they have to take care of, you know, and understand they have a soft spot. All right? I will take you back to even the days of when we first qualified for the Africa Cup of Nations. We had people talking about the squad that went there. Take nothing away from MOF, all right?
Yeah, the squad.
Yeah, but when we had a DVD and stuff, you know, and people accused him of that. And now we've got a foreign coach. And I like that he's there. I hope, this is my hope. I'm not saying he's exempted from from this behavior, toxic behavior, so to speak, in our football. But it has happened at a good time where we say, even for the lads that are there, he understands the culture of these lads that never grew up in Zimbabwe, don't understand the Zimbabwean culture and the way of doing things, you know, and he knows how to approach from a professional point of view, Eurocentric point of view, you know, to go and have a sit down either, you know, whether you like it or not, their peers.
To have a sit down with who?
Yeah? With the clubs, the parents and everyone. So
but the parents are your Valentines. That's
but look at
that.
But they know the future.
No,
but don't see the future. I'll give an example. Train on.
I'm not denying.
Yes, they give you. I'll give an example. Train on the approach. Yaya kuitika ni timu rekuno.
What was?
Ayo, baba kutotuma kauti ndemutora nemfana kachichi anditi. You know, sending. You know, the Nakambas, the Munetis, the people there to convince the young men. Yeah,
it's a wrong approach to have many
no,
fellow players.
I'm saying it's not coercing. You expect an institution, all right, to have an approach. Not the son might be interested, but as a father, because ndakabva kuZimbabwe, chakamubvisa muno mauchiziye, anditi nditori maybe negative attitude yekuti izvo zvaitika kumusha nebhora riri kumusha amfunda kukubona vele amfuni angiti so avele lapana sefunguzopambanisa umntanami vele amfuni lile ngaqala ukhuma lo mntanami you know that kind of thing, that kind of attitude is the attitude that naturally parent will have because of their past, so they will try ukugcina ukulondoloza umntanakhe ukuthi hayi engangeni lapha ungaqala amana enza kwenzela lokho zena ngithi. So that's what I'm saying, it's happening at it has happened with somebody I think
is able to get through
and be listened to. You know, you have to sit down because
you don't want me to tell you the undertones that I'm getting from there.
I'll give an example. And a good example is people are always giving me a stick for this because some of us were not there when it happened. The Norman Mapeza and Jordan Zembura situation. You know, it's about the culture. It wasn't not Mapeza that said that this boy is a Maradona or is not good enough. But I'm sure it's about the attitude and how he wanted him to work. You know, so that he understands how we do things from our perspective. You understand? So that was misinterpreted. You know, and it became toxic. And the coach, you protect your job. If you're going to give me that attitude, you are never coming into the national team. And I don't think you're bringing in the right attitude. Imagine if Chirewa had done what he did to Michael Nees and to Norman Mapeza or any other local coach. That boy wouldn't have won the Zimbabwean jersey ever again. But because Michael Nees understands, you know, how he wants, that's why that boy is back in the fold. He understood that this boy is young, all right, ambitious, he wants to express himself in a certain way, in as much as he's spoiled. But you understand how a child is spoiled. Because that side, they spoil them a lot. He's also so, I only died. You know? So, I'm saying it has happened at a very opportune and important time for Zimbabwe. Long overdue. And let's take nothing away from this process that I have to give it to the new ZIFA executive. Yes, they are not yet perfect, but I think they're moving in the right direction slowly but surely. And I'm sure if there are problems or things that they're failing, I think they're teething issues that they can solve over time.
You 3 lines.
Well, I think it's a noble idea. I mean,
why did you die down?
It's a noble.
What happened?
It's a noble idea because you know what, the things that you made me want to talk about, I would rather not talk about them on this platform.
Okay. We'll talk about it
exactly.
After.
So, but also it's a noble idea, and I think it's a process that we have to unite under, and make sure that we make the best out of it. Let's
tell your colleagues in the media fraternity.
Yeah, exactly.
Well.
I understand.
They're very toxic.
I understand. Okay, I think it's a process that we need to collectively participate in and make sure that we get the best out of it. And all those African countries, most of the African countries that have registered success at a global level, they went through the same process. We need to do that. But I also feel it's something that we need to approach in a way where let's start with the junior setup. Let's have a very strong under-20 team, a mixture of the locally based and those that are in the diaspora. Let's move to the under-23. Most of the boys that are doing well in the national team, the under-23.
Local, keep it 3-4 years.
No. That's the
topic for another
that
day.
is stereotypical. That's stereotypical. We will not take that. But
we're ignoring that one.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, let's have this setup. Let's focus on qualifying for the Olympics. Let's make waves. Exactly. Let's move and develop. Look at the teams that made a mark there. They actually made a mark first from the Olympics. Then they went on to.
Yeah, and then we started off with Caps United versus Ngezi. We're going to end with Caps United versus Ngezi. Karengesha's fantastic goal, of which your friends in the media fraternity said it was a curled shot.
Curled?
I did not see curl in it. I saw
let me tell you, I'm not going to waste my time in terms of describing whatever, however he did it. What I will tell you,
goal of
that
the
was
season.
a brilliant goal. Well, the season is still young. Our goal Zuka.
Contender.
Yes, he contended, thank you. It was a brilliant goal. And one that the only people that you can fault, they was first.
Oh, what have we done? What a shot!
He was
He had a bad day.
the stinger. It was a bad day in office. Then the captain was nowhere to be found because he had tucked in. Then going back to cover, my friend, that the guy had enough time to control the ball,
and just
pick
look
the
and
spot, and splash the ball.
slotted it in.
And the intelligence to control it with the left and shoot with the right.
Right, yeah. He slotted it in.
No.
Let's such a slot.
It was
Let us stick to local football. We're not talking about machine.
The machine just went.
We're not talking about the slot machine is giving now. It's now giving.
It's good.
Just get. We're done. We're done. Yeah, we're done.
The machine is lacking.
Next week we come back with the Highlanders.
As in your England.
Yes.
Against Caps United.
Caps United. We'll talk about that next week.
I know those will always give us.
We're hoping that we get fans on this podcast. So if there are any fans that are interested in joining us for the podcast, then please comment section.
Look at them, they're already here.
Hey, Wena.
They're done. My goodness.
All right, take your. We still wanted to talk. Who's the producer?